I wish I'd erased the app right away when I downloaded it, but I didn't, and one reckless swipe sent my life spinning out of control. Instead of deleting it, I matched with a younger man on Tinder. Sharp, daring, and strangely reminiscent. We conversed, we chuckled, we flirted, and then I overstepped a boundary. It wasn't until afterward, when things turned physical, that I found the photograph on his dresser. A photograph that robbed me of my breath. The man I had just been with, he was my stepson, my husband's son. Now, I am ensnared in a secret so weighty, I can scarcely meet my husband's gaze. Yet, the most tormenting aspect is that I still can't shake him from my thoughts. Before delving further, I simply want to extend my gratitude to all who listen. To those returning viewers, thank you for your persistent support. And to newcomers, welcome. Please like, subscribe, and share your insights in the comments. I eagerly await your thoughts. Now allow me to transport you back to where this unfolded. My name is Anita. At 42 years old, I am the one telling this tale. Residing in Maryland, I've been wedded to Gilbert for approximately a decade. Gilbert is a dependable, prosperous businessman, yet emotionally detached. After his back surgery, we ceased sharing a bed, and our relationship has since felt more akin to a professional partnership than a marriage. His son from his previous union, Alan, age 22, is a college graduate, courteous, charismatic, seldom present. Gilbert rarely discusses Alan beyond mentioning he's finding his way. One evening, I found myself alone at home while Gilbert was on yet another week-long trip to California. In the solitude of my house, I indulged in wine and aimlessly flipped through a book that held no appeal. On an impulse born from either boredom or loneliness, I downloaded Tinder. Using a pseudonym, Madison, I uploaded an old photograph featuring darker hair and sunglasses, ensuring my identity remained obscure. My conversation with Jay, a 22-year-old man who was bold, witty, and flirtatious, rekindled a sense of vitality within me. Daily conversations morphed into FaceTime chats. He never seemed taken aback by my advanced age. He appreciated women confident in their identity. An uncanny familiarity emanated from him, though its source remained elusive to me. Our encounter took place in a tranquil Baltimore locale. I donned a wig, dark lipstick, and a scarf. I told myself it was merely dinner. Yet the evening morphed into cocktails, which in turn evolved into something more. The connection between us was electric, undeniable. Subsequently, we returned to his apartment. It was within those four walls that everything shifted. Breathless, I stood amidst his room, when I spotted a photo frame on the dresser. There, smiling back at me, was Gilbert, holding a boy I had barely recognized over the years. That boy was now a man. My legs gave way. Dizziness clouded my mind. The man I had just shared intimacy with was Alan, my husband's son, my stepson. Cruelly, he remained unaware of my identity too. In haste, I fled that apartment like a ghost in the night. The secret had been simmering between us, unbeknownst to both of us. What followed only intensified the situation. I spent that night awake, sitting in my car parked outside Alan's apartment for more than an hour, trembling. My fingers clutched the steering wheel so hard, I feared it might shatter. My insides were a knot. My mind refused to quiet down. What had I done? I had overstepped a boundary no respectable woman should breach. I had deceived my husband. I had immersed myself in something so convoluted, I struggled to draw breath. The most terrifying aspect was that I hadn't realized it until the damage was done. That night, I blocked Alan's number and deleted the app. I attempted to expunge everything related to him. I steered clear of his social media, his name, even avoiding looking at Gilbert for too long. He would see the guilt etched on my face. I was convinced of it, but secrets have a tendency to surface. 3 days later, Alan messaged me from another number. "We need to talk. I recognize you now, but I can't get you out of my thoughts." I should have ignored his message. I should have fled, yet my fingers responded before my reason could intervene. Inquired I. "From your wedding picture, discovered in my father's office. Previously, I recognized you, but the connection wasn't established until now. It fits. The way you communicated. Your gaze. I felt it too, and you knew this." I contemplated casting my phone into the bay, but continued texting instead. The weight of guilt bore down heavily. I ceased consuming meals regularly. I shied away from intimacy, avoiding Gilbert as if he were contagious. He observed naturally. During a dinner, he tenderly touched my hand and asked, "You've been distant recently. Everything all right?" I feigned a smile. "Lit," I replied. I was merely exhausted. Alan messaged me nearly every day following that. And the most painful aspect was I responded. Each time, he revealed things I never anticipated hearing. About his mother abandoning him at age 10. About Gilbert not truly being present in his life. About his upbringing filled with anger and isolation. About never feeling like he belonged anywhere. Initially, he had begun to experience a genuine connection when we conversed. This occurred even before the truth surfaced. I attempted to reason with him, urging him to cease this behavior as it was wrong. However, Alan disregarded rules, being ruled instead by emotion, which was becoming increasingly perilous. One evening, I encountered him outside my Pilates studio. He claimed he was merely passing by, but I knew better. He looked shattered, captivating, and lost. "I don't want this to end," he whispered. Regardless of the nature, all I understood was that I felt alive in his presence. I was on the verge of shouting, fleeing, yet remained rooted, allowing his words to seep into my heart like fire. I had morphed into a stranger, a woman living with fear, guilt, and a yearning. Desire not for Alan's body, but for how he made me feel seen, heard, desired. I avoided him for 2 weeks after that incident. No messages. No phone calls. But destiny was far from done with us. One evening, Gilbert returned home early and announced, "Excellent news. Good fortune awaits. Over the weekend, we'll have Alan at the lake house, just the trio of us. A genuine family retreat, it seems." However, my spirits sank as I contemplated spending 3 days with the man I wedded, and the boy whom I deceived him. The lake house holds memories that shattered whatever was left to cling to. It was always Gilbert's sanctuary, a secluded wooded haven nestled near Deep Creek Lake in western Maryland, away from neighbors and distractions. Just 3 of us, he called it, a genuine family weekend. Yet as we journeyed there, I found myself suffocating in the back seat, consumed by an unspoken tension. Alan sat beside me, his proximity palpable. His gaze flickered towards me through the rearview mirror every few minutes. Unaware of our shared secret, Gilbert hummed to old tunes on the drive, oblivious that both his wife and son harbored a revelation capable of shattering him. The first night was agonizing. I couldn't eat, and sleep eluded me. At around midnight, I heard faint footsteps outside my room, and a quiet knock followed. Alan whispered through the door, "Anita, please just talk to me." I chose not to open it. I couldn't. Instead, I pressed my hand against my chest and waited for his steps to disappear. The following morning, Gilbert appeared cheerful. He prepared pancakes, brewed coffee, and urged us all to go boating later. He seemed lighter than I had seen him in months. At a certain point, while Gilbert left to take a call, Alan approached me in the kitchen. "You haven't spoken to me for days," he murmured. "I can't continue feigning ignorance about what transpired." "You can't either. You are his son," I replied back, clutching the counter as if it were my only support. "We are finished. There was never meant to be anything between us. This ends now." He regarded me with a gaze that rent something within me. "Do you think I orchestrated this?" he inquired. "I was as unaware of your identity as you were of mine. But the emotions we shared are indisputable." I departed without responding. That night, Gilbert astonished me with something unexpected. Sitting by the fireplace, he gazed at me with tender eyes. "I acknowledge my distance," he admitted. "But I wish to make amends. I yearn for us to mend this rift. You remain the woman I fell for, Anita. I don't want to lose you." His words stirred something deep within me. Suddenly, guilt morphed into grief, as I had already shattered everything between us. The crushing blow followed the next morning. Alan, in a surge of emotion, drew me aside while Gilbert was absent. He clutched my wrist, his gaze intense. "Confess that it meant something. Admit you felt what I felt. Hold on," I whispered, my voice trembling. "Please. You are about to ruin everything." Gilbert departed, and just as Alan released my hand, his smile vanished, replaced by a stern gaze. What's happening? I had spoken too quickly. We were simply? In the heavy stillness, I confessed my infidelity to Gilbert that evening at home. Not every detail, but enough to shatter the illusion we had built. I disclosed that I had committed a grievous error, yet remained silent on who was involved. It was impossible for me to reveal. Doing so would have broken him beyond repair. Initially, Gilbert remained quiet, then he slowly gathered his belongings and departed from our home. Alan messaged me that night, asking if I was okay. For the second and last time, I blocked his number. As weeks went by, Gilbert filed for separation. Alan moved away, leaving a void. All that remained was me, sitting amidst the wreckage of what once seemed like a secure life. I never intended to fall, but secrets can be as sharp as knives. And mine left scars I will carry forever. The one lesson I've gleaned is this: loneliness should not serve as an excuse. Silence in a marriage should not be filled with comforting lies. It must be faced and confronted, for when you seek solace in the wrong arms, you risk losing all that was once good. Thank you for watching. Should this tale resonate with you in any manner, feel free to express your reflections in the comments section. I'd be keen to learn your perspective. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and spread the word about this channel to someone who might benefit from a story such as this. Until our next encounter, remain truthful, complete, and empathetic.